And Scooby-1, Scooby-1, Scooby-1.
Scooby-1, Roger over.
Come in, Scooby-1. This is Velma 6.
Oh, Velma 6, get off this line. Clear the line, Velma 6.
Welcome to the edge of nowhere. Games at the edges of what we know. Monster Lore Tour Podcast. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 94 of the Monster Lore Tour Paranormal Deep Dives from the Edge of Nowhere podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Carr, here with my co-host and the lion-o to my panthro, Mr. Matt Ozero, a.k.a. the Moz. How are we doing today, Moz?
I'm more of the Portho to the D'Artagnan, don't you think? Porthos?
No, you're lion-o.
I'm lion-o.
Because you're leading the way today.
Oh.
With the human cats, you know?
Yeah. And
half human, half cat.
You know,
thing.
I watched the Thundercats. I don't know their names anymore.
Lion-o is in charge.
Faces fade as the years go by.
Panthro was actually my favorite.
Ooh.
He was the Black Panther.
Nice. And tonight on Monster
Him and
Tour,
Schnarf.
Thundercats.
You remember Schnarf?
Schnarf?
Schnarf.
Oh, was that like their pet little mascot?
Yeah, like the cat dog looking pet
there
thing
you
that
go.
they had.
Nice.
Because he just said Schnarf, Schnarf.
Schnarf.
So they called him Schnarf.
Nice. It's a good name. Good and fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're going to switch gears from cartoons to the heart of darkness.
Please,
here.
that went totally wrong on me.
For those who missed the first 47 episodes on Shapeshifters, please stop 200 hours of all of our Shapeshifter episodes, and you'll be ready for this one. I'm just kidding. You're in the right place.
Hey, they all bring us new knowledge, man.
We build off our work on this. Work in air quotes.
Yeah. It's the road from hate to love.
I know. I hate
We're
that.
exposing more and more of the darkness so that we can shine a light.
I know that you're light shining. I don't know. I'm not so sure, but I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the light in the darkness.
Okay.
So in the heart of darkness. But this is the darkest stuff we've maybe discussed here on MLT, and this is more of the human side, although we do have shapeshifters showing up, of course, but there's a lot of evil shaman and their evil ways going on in this one. So there is a content warning, not for the kiddos. It's a little extreme at times, so viewer discretion is advised for this one. It gets disturbing as we follow the abject cruelty of these dark shaman, which may provide, it may be disturbing for some viewers.
Yeah, this one's going to get dark.
Yeah, pretty much the dark shaman. But kids, switch over to the Arctic Shapeshifter Christmas special.
Episode 16 and 17.
Yeah, pleasant dreams.
Find out how Santa is a psychedelic mushroom, because that's better.
It is better than this. But location-wise, we'll be talking mostly about northern South America tonight, and mostly Venezuela, Patamuna tribe, or the Paramaribo, and I don't know how to say these, of Guyana, and the nearby Makushi. We will then shift to the Wario and the Yanomami tribes, among others. So in this area, this definition of Kanaima is from Amerindian Testimonies, Janet Forte. A highly feared form of black magic widespread throughout the Amerindian peoples of eastern Venezuela and Guyana. Beliefs vary as to what a Kanaima actually is, but most agree that it is a person turned into a monster, jaguar, snake, etc., who ruthlessly kills for revenge, hire, or just the pleasure of it.
Ooh, okay.
And that quote from Forte actually comes from Taryl Janick's Return to the Dark Shaman. All these will be in the show notes as usual.
That does tie into the jaguars from the last one, right? They had the leopards. It was leopards.
Yeah, and the way to say that, and I think we did this last time, just a reminder, usually, not always, usually leopards are Africa and jaguars are South America.
Well, it kind of already rings a bell because
That's Quasimodo. That's
they had the thing where they were almost like an assassin for hire kind of concept in a way too.
Revenge sorcery is
you could
everywhere.
like rent out someone else's leopard to take your revenge for you, kind of thing.
Shamanism is steeped in revenge sorcery, and this is one of the darker corners of the Twilight Zone.
Nice.
Essentially, the Kanaima is a therianthropic jungle beastie, part man, part beast, often associated with shamanism. Surprise, surprise.
There you go.
In parts of South America, the common Kanaima are often found in jaguar snake or, and as Forte said, jaguar snake, but I also found crocodile form, which goes back to our crocodile episode. But it can really be any number of animals. I haven't found, I think, an anteater, which we're going to discuss at some point. Yeah. As discussed in Were Jaguars, usually, though, the shaman are very interested in the apex predator of an area, and that's what they're kind of honing in. They kind of build their way up yak-wise or totem-wise towards the apex predator, and the really strong shaman can channel or become the badass of that area of the jungle.
If you're yecking a large predatory cat, that's badass.
That's badass. You don't start with that. You
go yak myself a cougar.
Exactly. Don't start there, is all I'm going to say. Today we shift, though, to Mesoamerica from the leopards that I talked about in Africa last time. And the Kanaima, who are like, that's kind of the counterpart to the leopard men of Sierra Leone. Kanaima is associated with assault, revenge, sorcery, and the types fall into two main camps in these regions. The Kanaima is the actual connection between those leopard men of Sierra Leone and the Belgian Congo, and this is kind of their South American counterparts.
Gotcha. The South American version of it,
right?
Because they don't have leopards so much. They got dragged,
right.
Other way around.
I have heard it used both ways. They're very similar, but they're zoologically very similar. But they do usually refer to the jaguars that way.
Okay.
The Kanaima are said to have the power of invisibility, prophecy, and other supernatural powers, including, of course, shape-shifting. One stare from such a creature can drive you mad, which is another common trope, if you remember some of the other things we've discussed over the shape-shifting episodes. Mm-hmm. The Iarak from the Inuit lore and the Kushtaka from the Tlingit. We have lots of things and we've even I've had family, you just interviewed someone, locking eyes, bad.
Yeah, don't look into the beast's eyes.
Don't look into the eyes of the beast. We have seen similar breakdowns elsewhere, but here we can have a jaguar that is not a jaguar. It can be a Kanaima, a darker shaman on the prowl, or it can be a Kanaima sent by a Pia, P-I-Y-A, more traditional shaman who you somehow slighted. So the yeoman shaman goes dark and seeks revenge. Ooh. Kanaima are described as ancient cave warriors, and that sounds like a bridge between the animal, the jaguar, and the shaman, who often spend a lot of time in caves, painting, journeying, and shrooming. We also find that, at least the way Jeremy does it, we also find that...
It reminds me of the Beowulf story with the cave people.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen 13th Warrior? Or
yes. Yeah.
There's so many versions of it.
Banderas.
Antonio Banderas, yeah. That might be my favorite version of Beowulf ever.
Yeah.
But that concept, that's what it sounds like. It's the crazy, differently evolved cave people.
Yeah.
Or the recent Western version of it with Kurt Russell. What was that called? That cannibal tribe where they had the whistles in their throat, actually evolved with the whistle in their throat.
Boy, that ties into our other tropes. The whistling as the first world.
Oh yeah,
yeah. See how whistling always comes up too. So that's going to be an episode of one of these days.
Okay.
So we're not going to actually talk through that. We're just going to communicate through a buzzing, whistling sound. So we'll get there, kids. Don't worry.
I can whistle and hum at the same time. Listen.
I can do a lightsaber. We'll have to have a lightsaber battle later. We also find that same orca or otter thing in North America. We find a way to permanently transition into jaguar form, and you can do this by eating the flesh of a tiger who was actually once a man, a not tiger kind of thing.
Whoa.
They're great.
So you have to kill a shaman while he's in the tiger form and eat its flesh.
Yes.
And then you can take on that power.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are what you eat.
That's right.
Keep what you kill,
literally,
as Riddick would say.
Yep. But here's why there's two primary shamanic groups in this region. two of the first kind of proto-entities from the Potamana folklore are brothers. We've touched on this before. I think we've quoted this before, but Kanaima and Piama, they're the two basically origin folks from this area, and they're both very dark. And it's funny that this is a group that went very dark with revenge sorcery, and both of their origin peeps seem to both be, instead of good cop, bad cop, it's dark cop, darker cop in this case. Yeah. I'm going to have you bring you to
bad cop, worse cop.
Yeah. And this is going to be from Neil Whitehead's work on the dark Kanaima, and I'm going to be putting that in the show notes because we're using that, relying on that a little heavily tonight. Okay. But basically, that brings us to our first reading. This part comes from deep, deep somewhere in the mausoleum.
Welcome to the mausoleum.
Oh, God. What is that smell? Kanaima has many disputes with his brothers, but especially Piama. He's sneaky, malicious, and author of many of the woes of people, particularly of such things as venomous snakes, scorpions, and stingrays. According to the Padamuna today, Kanaima was the first man, who with Piama originated the world. He made the first woman out of one of his brothers. Kanaima was a trickster, master of animals, and hunting magic. He also transformed both people and animals to stones and wrote petroglyphs on the rocks. Piama is pictured as a giant anthropophage. He eventually emerges as a patron to humanity, since, as his name implies, was Piama who gave men Paya, which is shamanism itself. His name thus translates as, quote, the great or ultimate shaman. Piama created the first shamans in the magical plants they use, especially tobacco. Oh, wow. Piama is sometimes known also by the name of Aita, a cave-dwelling cannibal forest spirit. Wow.
So that again is from Neil Whitehead's work. It will be in the show notes, Dark Kanaima. But basically, it's like the snow miser and the heat miser. One brother is worse than the other. Everything in this jungle is really dark. You got a dark trickster. Beware the telling of the. This is their origin myths, and it's hard to find a darker one where one is a cannibal and the other's a dark trickster.
Yeah, cannibal forest spirit.
Right. Right. So the whole thing's got this Wendigo-esque quality to it as well.
Yeah.
And they're not the nicest brothers. And this is some of the darkest stuff we're going to cover. And I kind of wonder if it's because they're two brothers who started this whole shebang are very dark. And what came from that ends up being this darker part of revenge sorcery that still goes on today.
It's kind of a Remus and Romulus story, isn't it?
Yeah. It's brutal. And but like Nanabotso the Ojibwa, many proto-shamans were messengers between mankind and the Great Spirit. Kind of that, this was the bringer of the plants, the bringer of the fire, the bringer of some of these teachings. Kanaima is also described as an almost Frankensteinian figure. Piama defeats him and dismembers him, but someone sews him back together, blows magical plants over him to resurrect him in a process called talang. So it's a really dark. See, that's just a paragraph we read from Whitehead, but the whole story is very dark.
Yeah.
Again, there's, I don't know, like, I feel like there's a relationship between how dark it is and how dark it still is. But sometimes Kanaima can be, again, Piyan, Piyan, or regular shaman-like at times. Sometimes Pia have their own Kanaima, and vice versa. There's dark white ambiguity again, or more like gray and black in this case, dark and darker again. When a man hires a Kanaima, sometimes they can shamanically journey together to the home of the target. So the Kanaima knows who to attack. But these attacks fall into two main categories. Category one, people are, and this again, I got a lot of this from Whitehead's work. People are clubbed, poisoned, and then tortured for a time until they die and left with these marks of the Kanaima, which are heinous. It's an attack on both sides of the alimentary canal. So they're attacking the mouth and the ass, basically.
Yikes.
Often and they also would tie the intestines. This is why there's a disclaimer today. So the body would become bloated, and basically you cannot digest anymore. So they would violate both sides of the alimentary canal and leave this person to waste away and die. I guess not many, it's a dark.
That's horrible.
I warned you. And category 2 are truly powerful shamanic entities, these shape-shifting therianthropic demon-possessed Kanaima, usually in jaguar form, but sometimes, as we said, in other forms as well. They will kill and devour anyone in their path till they find the intended victim, a.k.a. the reason they were summoned. So it gets very Gollum-esque, gets very Tupilak, we discussed from the northern regions.
Yeah,
where you're sending Pumpkinhead. Yeah,
that's always where my brain goes for that.
Yeah, it's a great movie. These attacks are about the most heinous thing, and sometimes Kanaima hunt in packs, use these poison darts to drug the victim. Then they do their awfulness so the person can no longer digest food properly. They go back to their village. And everyone gets to see them waste away and die because no one can help them.
So they mess up your mouth so it can't eat, and they mess up your butt so it can't poop.
Yeah,
basically.
Both. Yeah, and
then you just wither and die.
Yeah,
in pain.
And there's nothing. Yeah, it's a wasting away
starving's
over the
bad
days
enough.
and weeks.
If you're starving and can't poop,
it's just
just so much more pain involved.
Yeah, and some of them are not tied. Some of them are, that sometimes they just do that to the body as part of the process. But they damage both ends so bad, there's nothing going on, and you're going to die.
I feel like every time I record a podcast episode for any podcast, I end up saying at least one sentence I never thought I would hear come out of my own mouth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was one of them right there. So they mess up your mouth so you can't eat, and then close up your butt so you can't poop.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say that out loud.
Yeah. And there you go. There's why there's a disclaimer tonight.
And a serious question. This is like the dark side of the dark side. Can a shadow have a shadow?
Well, and again, I think that if things are out of balance, we get those darkest pieces. And if you have both of your origin guys as dark trickster, we'll get into this in theory probably.
So it's almost like there's a darkness, and the darkness itself has a shadow.
I just think it's the most out of balance. And even when you say like we did the Santa Krampus thing, if Santa is so good and he's a hallmark moment every day of his life, he might really not be in touch with his shadow stuff, and that's where Krampus comes out and his disappearing kiddos, Santa's side hustle. And
it's the naughty list. You got to clean up the naughty list.
He cleans up the naughty list, but in a way that, again, is very, very dark because he's too light. And when the other side, if you get too dark,
all extremes are bad.
All extremes are bad.
You got to keep balance, or you fall off to one side or the other, and both extremes are bad.
That's a Mama and Papa song. All extremes are bad.
Extremes are bad.
Yeah, let's not do that. But fear is palpable.
We just did.
That's true, but you can edit it out.
I could.
Fear is palpable in these jungles because of these roaming horrors. They are not done. They have more in store for the body of the deceased. Yeah. This is the Christmas special, kids,
Yeah.
Here's a look.
No, I don't. Oh, no, Moss.
Here's a look at the first category of the more human fingerprints of this whole phenomenon. Again, I think this comes from Dark Shamans, Kanaima, and the Poetic of Violent Death, Neil L. Whitehead. I don't think I did the full quote yet. That'll be in the show notes. But since Kanaima would also now be considered an outlaw by all who would become the bugbear, the demon of the neighborhood, and with no need to hide his criminal intent, would paint his body and wear an animal pelt. He would then confront his victims in the forest and fight him. In this confrontation, the Kanaima, quote, wounds him with his poison arrow and transfixes his tongue with the fangs of the most venomous of snakes, thus handily forestalling the identification of perpetrator by the victim. Schomburg later adds that the Kanaima would seek the grave of the victim 3 nights later so that he could taste the blood. The victim could manage to return home and be buried there so that the Kanaima could not taste the corpse. The Kanaima himself would be put into mortal danger. So this is a game for reals.
Yikes.
It is.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It has to taste the body.
Yeah.
or it dies.
Yeah, I mean, they do this terrible thing, and they wait for this person to die, and then it's almost like the Philippines, where you have to guard the body, or there's things going on, afterwards that are, and it doesn't get darker than this. Well, I don't know if we've ever been this dark.
The sit and vigil over the recently dead is a very common thing in the world, isn't it? Like I know the Irish have a version of that.
Yeah, and again, shit seems global to me a lot of times.
Like every culture has a version of it.
Yeah, and every sperm is sacred.
You have to watch over the recently dead.
Yes. That's interesting. This one's from Neil Whitehead again. Kanaima are thought of as hunting in packs. There's that pack thing again. And the leader of any given group, the Kanaima-san, is one sense the true Kanaima. The other killers merely being trained in ritual technique. The Kanaima-san kills alone. On occasion, guards the pack and fights other shamans. It is the ability to ascend to the heights of the Kalawali, Kalawali, the spirit ladder that is most directly augmented by the Kanaima killing. For as part of his direct relationship with the Makononome, it is the destiny of powerful shamans to become stars, like the Makonome himself, who become Orion. And among shamans, Kanaima are the most potent of all. The starlight of the night sky is therefore a sinister reminder of the pervasive and ancient nature of the Kanaima. So even looking into the sky, that was Whitehead again, even looking at the sky is no relief. Just a reminder there's something in the woods, something in the jungle, waiting to make you its prey.
They're like a pack of assassins living in a cave.
Yeah. And what this reminds me of,
it's like the original assassins of Xanadu or something.
I don't remember how much we went into this in the original Shapeshifter episode, but we did talk about the tiger men of Sierra Leone, the leopard men of Sierra Leone. This sounds a lot like, I was thinking one of these guys had to be a shaman, and they didn't, and they caught with the guys with the steel claws, and it was more of the men were doing this, and they were found wearing skins and had steel claws.
Right.
But we tracked that trail to an altar of a therianthropic leopard man, and I feel like the same dynamic was probably in place. One of them was some kind of shaman leading the rest of these men dressed as leopards.
Right.
Just a theory, because there's not as much proof on that.
So that's kind of like berserkery.
Yeah.
They have the pack that they give them the Jägermeister with the hallucinogens in the wine.
It's Borfama. And
they strip naked and paint themselves up and get build-up of froth and run into battle naked.
If you go back to that episode, it was Borfama and was actually cannibalistic as well. They're making a meal out of some of their enemies and doing just that. But the berserkers, what I'm saying is they're all berserkers, but one is the apex predator shaman. This case, the Kanaima.
Right.
In the case of Sierra Leone, we don't know what that guy is.
That's the wizard that makes the Jägermeister.
Yes.
Exactly. That's who we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right here. Yeah.
The Jägermeister, Meister.
Yeah.
Let's ruin Christmas again.
The Jägermeister.
Okay, kids. Well, the kids
this
were
is
all
the January
sent,
episode.
They were sent to bed.
If you want to follow up on the Crushing Christmas, this is the next episode.
This is the one. There we go. We're still wrecking Christmas. And we will continue to wreck Christmas. I'm sorry. But there's a lot of hammock stories in this region, by the way. So this must be a common way to sleep off the jungle floor. Many of these attacks come from underneath, from the underworld. Yeah, they have hammocks.
I sleep in hammock all the time.
Well, I wanted to mention that specifically for you. This was with you in mind. Gil again.
Yeah, yikes.
Yikes. And some of these tales speak of the Kanaima being stronger than the Pia, those yeoman shaman of the region. So there's some argument here that the dark side, the Sithri, again, is more powerful, which is not cool, but is often, even in Star Wars, that's kind of what we're getting at. It's the darker side is pretty darn strong.
Yeah.
Other accounts do describe the attacker actually becoming were-jaguars. The demon can arise as a separate entity and avenge and goes after it. It will keep killing until it finds the target. It cannot do this. Eventually, it will hunt the summoner. Again, that harkens back to the Golem.
Pumpkinhead straight up. Yeah, and the Golem thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Pumpkinhead
and
was.
And the Tupolak. Same ideas. This from Penard's 1907, quote, "I growl, I hiss, I swing the club just like he does when he crushed his prey with one blow of his terrible claws. And when I have killed my enemy, I must also drink his blood and taste his flesh, that the spirit that impels me to do this deed will be assuaged. When the tiger is the man becomes the tiger." And that's from Frederick Paul Penard.
Wow.
And that is going to be in the show notes as well.
I like that image.
Then I'm going to have you read the next Whitehead quote. This again, Neil Whitehead from his Dark Kanaima.
Brett, 1868, therefore, is the first to make a link between Kanaima and human transformations into jaguars. He noted that Kanaima is both a man and, quote, "the murderous spirit under whose influence he acts," unquote. Continuing, some of their legends describe the destructive deeds of animals of which the same spirit, or a human soul under its influence, tales of the Kanaima observers, has taken possession. A jaguar which displays unusual audacity in approaching men will often unnerve even a brave hunter by the fear that it may be a Kanaima tiger. "This," reasons the Indian, "if it be but an ordinary wild beast, I may kill with bullet or arrow. But what will be my fate if I assail the man-destroyer, the terrible Kanaima?" And in a footnote, Brett writes, "Many of the Indians believe that those Kanaima animals are possessed by the spirits of men who have devoted themselves to deeds of blood and cannibalism. To enjoy the savage delight of killing and devouring human beings, such a person will assume the shape, or his soul animates the body, of a jaguar, approach the sleeping places of men, or waylay the solitary Indian in his path." So they sneak up on you in your sleep and try to eat you?
Yeah, this one captures all the way these things are waiting for you and all the mistakes you can make. And, you know, it's just, I guess this part skipped in the travel brochures from the region, I imagine. But,
the mistakes you can make.
Oh, that's a Dr. Seuss.
I have constant ideas for, like, dark side Dr. Seuss-like books.
Oh, let's do it.
Like Dr. Seuss books, but they leave you feeling really terrible and scared.
Yeah.
This is why I don't actually write books.
I am the Hectors. I speak for the lectors.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's Taryl Janick, author of A Return of the Dark Shaman. And it's a kind of a, he studied some of Whitehead's work and he kind of followed in his footsteps and went to some of these places and did his own study. Will be in the show notes. He finds an account from an anonymous woman from the El Dorado expedition. Quote, "Kanaimas are shapeshifters. They kill, hide, are evil, can travel miles quicker than any human, can be in people or look like animals when disguised. In other words, can be anyone or any animal, can take over people, poison you, stick sticks inside you. They can turn good people bad, take over your personality. You can't fight them. They can hide, disguise, or become invisible, vanish into nowhere. Such was their power, and people we saw were so scared to talk out that they could hear what was said. Nobody that directly was accused, as they were too scared to say that in case of repercussions. It was known who, but in the next village, or he here was last but left, vanished. So no, but I go the feelings. There were Kanaima among us at all times, embodied in different people, in our group even. Nobody could therefore be trusted. People were scared. That fear was genuine, even though the stories didn't make a lot of sense in a Western way." And again, that's a little broken-y, but that's the way it was portrayed. Sure. Turn to the dark shamans, Kanaima, and the cosmology of threat. That will be in the show notes. And again, that was the follow-up to Whitehead's work. He kind of picked up the torch. But fear is contagion again. We see from, they travel faster than humans, so we get the skin
walker
kind of element to it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. That was very skin
walker related. Yeah. This also from the same study. The Patumana, prior to battle, would invoke the tiger spirit, or Kekasuma, who would come to live in the hearts of the warriors so that they would be fierce. And then in order to purge oneself from the Kakusa Yuma, the possessed warrior must be allowed to taste human blood and flesh.
Wow. God, they're all just feasting on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what happens when the big cats evolve a little bit and start eating us again.
Exactly.
Make us the middle of the food chain again.
But these are the two main papers tonight. That was Whitehead's Dark Shaman and Janick's Return of the Dark Shaman. So I think we should probably...
A double Mad Cujos?
Double Mad Cujos.
Yeah, double Mad Cujos.
And if I were to write a third sequel, I thought about it could be Bride of the Dark Shaman, could be my paper, or I Was a Teenage Dark Shaman, or Breaking Dark for those Twilight people out there.
American Dark Shaman in London.
Yeah. Or, Battle Beneath the Planet of the Dark Shaman.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
The
Invasion of the Dark Shaman.
There you go.
I know, we're going too far, Maz.
Yeah,
we're going way too far, Maz.
I know. We gotta watch some more Roger Corman films, and then we'll be ready.
Oh, that's so bad.
That was amazing. So bad. It was amazing. Moving west into Venezuela, here's an interesting study on shamanic battlegrounds by Zeljko Jokic. I don't know how to say this, but Zejiko, last name Jokic. Very trickster name. I like it. In the areas of the upper Orinoco River in Venezuela, Yanomami tribe Shapori shamans engage in hostile acts against their colleagues and people, especially children living in distant villages, in order to inflict misery and death.
Yikes.
These combative magical practices are primarily motivated by retribution for past assaults of a similar kind. While in most cases the Shapori perform these activities intentionally, this article argues that the malevolent non-human acts are also driven by cannibalistic nature of the Hekura spirits, which demand human souls. In this way, although Shapori intentionally engage in bellicose activities, they must sometimes kill in order to appease the ancestral spirits and thus spare the lives of their own kin. And that again from Shamanic Battlefields.
Charyu Tree, man. Charyu Tree. And all the gunslinger fans out there will get that.
There you go. And that again, the reference is Shamanic Battleground, Magic, Sorcery, and Warrior Shamanism in Venezuela. And another great study, by the way.
For those who haven't read Book 5 of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series, Charyu Tree basically translates to death to you, life for my crops.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're going to be put in the field and fertilizer. You're going to be fertilizer, basically. So again, basically. So again, we find this ancestral, even elemental connection to this phenomenon. Same study, quote, there is general agreement in the existing Yanomami literature that the Shapori use their Hekura, spirit helpers, for the dual purpose of curing their own people and attacking and killing their enemies. So it's really, the name of the paper is Shamanic Battleground, and that's what we really find in these jungles. The Yanomami cosmos are a series of interconnected disks, by the way, lands or layers hovering over each other. And it's described as a fragmented totality, also described as not a friendly place. Yeah. Sounds more Castaneda-like than Disney-like.
Well, we went into, we're going into the rainforest here, right? Because I feel like there's a different kind. Venezuela. Yeah, I feel like there's a different kind of darkness in the rainforest. Like they call Africa the dark continent and all that. But I think there's something
just as darker
darkness about the rainforest. The deepest parts of the Amazon and things like that. Like that to me is like the creepiest place to go unguided. You know what I mean?
Luckily, we're here to guide you.
Maz is here to protect us, everybody.
That's right.
Does that make you feel better?
I've done it. I've sprinkled the things around the corner. Everybody's safe for this one. So enjoy your Christmas.
Can we bring Alex Bone too? Because he makes me feel better.
Tomorrow when you step... Yeah, you can. But tomorrow when
if
you step out of the circle, there is no promising. So just stay in the circle.
Stay in the circle, kids. Keep all hands and feet inside the circle.
Here's the last couple of passages from Jokic. It has inhabited by various cannibalistic, anthropomorphic, ancestral beings, which each stratum having its own denizens or Hekura, ... The terrestrial disk, the world of the living, is covered with vast tropical rainforests, is home to a number of malevolent beings, chief of whom the Irariwë, Irariwe, the ancestral jaguar. Finally, the subterranean layer is populated with the Amahari Yanomami ancestors who once lived on Earth but sank underground due to the collapse of the sky. A constant menace to the Yanomami, the Amaharia shamans frequently engage in malfeasant acts. Various Hekura pose ongoing threat to the Yanomami, inflicting illness and death by stealing and eating their vital essences. It's only through the process of shamanistic initiation that these extracorporeal spirit beings can be domesticated and put into the service of the Shapori. However, the same shaman can and customarily do use these embodied spirits for harmful purposes.
There it is. There it is.
It's not this
It's all intent, right? It's not the power you hold, it's the intent you use it with.
Right. But this seems dark and darker, and a lot of it is revenge based on something that might have been done 30 years ago, and they're coming back for revenge, and it's just back and forth. They started this Hatfield McCoy thing in the jungle with shaman and another shaman, and it's gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
It's really crazy dark.
And the whole they got pushed underground when the sky fell thing, that rings a bell with me for Randall Carlson's whole thing with the sudden ending of the Ice Age, when the meteors, pelted the earth and flash melted the glaciers and all that.
Yeah.
I wonder what the time range on those things was.
Yeah, and I think back to that point is probably where a lot of these things originated, and this goes back.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we have older cave paintings,
right?
We certainly have older cave paintings. We don't have much older hints. I think from that 11,500 is really where we start to get the oral traditions that are still here, and some of the major origin mythos arises from. But besides a few cave paintings, we have nothing beyond that. Yeah. But we do have a hint that it was same shit, different shaman.
We're starting to Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
Was already old then. Right?
Yeah, they buried
that's
it
when
at
it was
the
buried.
end. They buried it at the end.
Which means it was built and in use for a good bit before that, I would think.
Yeah. No, it was a brothel. I've read the...
weren't they all back then, though?
It was a Western
People were having
town.
more fun
it was a real shootout,
The world was different before the internet.
Yeah,
you could get away with stuff.
It was like Canyon Diablo here in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, there you go.
Same idea. Last quote from Jokic, quote, "The shaman himself becomes a Hekura after receiving various bodily components and attributes of the Hekura, such as the crown of light, Watoshi, which enables him to see at a distance, and inside a candidate receives the crown of light during a shamanic initiation." So again...
See at a distance, this is like astral projection, like remote viewing.
Yeah, in some ways, and we talked about that in one of the quotes, that it seems like there's a combo package where someone identifies the target and then they work together to identify, and it's almost an astrally piece, and then they go out to actually find these people and work their quote-unquote magic, dark magic,
Nice.
But Jokic goes on to explain that the shaman is the headquarters of all these yeks, or Hekura spirits, as these different totem or ancestral spirits are swirling around his or her brain. So basically the Hekura is back to almost a more spiritually kind of ancestral totem, or at least there's some connections there. As for how this ties into shamanic shape-shifting complex, my country, we got half human, half humans once again. Here's Graham Hancock, a la his Supernatural, and this is a quote from his experience. Quote, "My final ayahuasca session in Peru is with a 74-year-old Shipibo Indian shaman named Don Leoncio and his tambo in the jungle beyond Ecuador, as well as the usual ingredients of the psychoactive viridis leaves and the Banisteropaceous capi vine. His ayahuasca includes datura, another well-known visionary plant, and tastes unspeakably awful. I have a series of small and certainly not terrifying visions. These are a few snakes. Several times I see multiple rows of green pyramids laid out in long, tapering strips. I seem to be flying over these strips. I also see a sphere, a cube, and a triangle, rows of serpent or alligator mouths full of teeth. But the single most memorable aspect of my vision this night unfolds over what feels like just a few seconds. I seem to be inside a large, quite dark room with an open doorway to one side. Light floods into the doorway, and through it I can see a beautiful, spacious balcony overlooking what is perhaps a vast river or lake or even the sea. On the left side of the balcony, at the rear, just outside the open doorway through which I'm looking, I suddenly become aware of the presence of a figure. It's an imposing statue about 6 feet high, apparently carved in one piece, some green stone, perhaps jade. The sculptor provided excellent detail, the fine robes, a belt, something, possibly a sword, suspended from the belt. At first, a stunning piece of sculpture seems just that, a harmless, inanimate statue. I'm curious to see more of it and move my point of view a little closer to get a good look at its face. To my surprise, the image shows basically female dancing, human bodies with crocodile heads. And it's a detail from a painting of an ayahuasca vision by a Peruvian shaman, Pueblo Amengo. But the statue is half animal, half human. It has the body of a powerful and well-muscled man, but the head of a crocodile like Sobek, the ancient Egyptian crocodile god. And I now suddenly realize it is alive, a living being, a supernatural guardian. At this moment, its eyes swivel sideways, and as it's looking to me, taking note of me, the look is intelligent, appraising, somehow sly, but yet not threatening. What is this living statue, this being of jade? The vision fades. And that's from Supernatural, the book we both own by Graham Hancock. And again, it ties in the Therianthropes. They can be crocodiles in this area. There are dancing crocodiles. In his brain, there's a statue. In his vision, again, we made this point a lot. Carl Jung made this point a lot. We seem to have the same type of visions and dreams. And in ayahuasca, we seem to meet the same portal guardians, the serpents and the jaguars and the snakes. And in this case, crocodiles also show up a lot as one of the key variants. It's jaguar or it's crocodile. This is a guy from our contemporary still alive having the same experiences, similar ones, variations of ones that we're talking about from Venezuela and the jungles of Africa and beyond, and to the circumpolar Arctic groups.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you want to call it totemic or just beastly or monstrous side of the Jungian archetype kind of concept, where it's just these images and these visions, and it's almost like what they mean is almost based on your situation. Like, when did you see him? Why did you see him? They don't themselves necessarily have an extensive meaning. It's just we see these images and it's in our, so deep in our psyche. It's like a root vision of something.
Yeah, and Jung himself, who did these deep dives and had the Red Book, in Ion, he has this vision of himself as a lion-headed being.
Oh,
so he has a therianthropic.
Like Lion-O.
Yeah.
Which is you today. That's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
You brought it back. And you just read Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. There's a piece of that where he goes into a cave at the beginning of the dream. He has to pass this mummified dwarf. So there's a portal guardian to get into the cave. Everything's so shamanic, even in his Red Book stuff.
Yeah. When
we go into these dark places of the abyss, these themes come back, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. Per Whitehead again, Neil Whitehead, anthropologist named Tausig, who calls what he's studying all that, comes back to this revenge sorcery, Hekura and Yanomami shamanic battle. He quotes Tausig, quote, 1997 notes the dualism of the spirits of the Bajo Luz, dark, and Alto Luz, light, suggesting that the former are anxious to advance in spiritual power. As a result, the spirits of Bajo Luz can be openly bought and used to invade the body of one's enemy. One advanced in light towards the liberator by selling oneself as an assassin. These recalls the Kalawali and the shamanic battles that occur in ascending the shamanic ladder. So basically the Kalawali is back to that shamanic ladder, and there's battles going on not only in the jungle between sorcerers and other sorcerers, or sorcerers and perceived enemies, or attacks on regular tribal folks. There's also a battle going on at the shamanic ladder itself, at the Axis Mundi. We talk about the sacred pole, as they're trying to go up and down to do things for their different groups, come back from the underworld with with information or go to the upper world, there's actually other shamans trying to mess with them as they try to make these journeys. It's like everything is fraught with even astral peril. This whole thing is like, again, it's like a level darker than we've almost come across in some ways.
I didn't know the astral plane had so much traffic.
Exactly. But speaking of Alaska, back to the Kushtagaville, according to Swanton, 1908, if a man died unavenged or his death was not properly compensated for, then he could not get up the ladder that led him to Kawa, Kawaa, the Tlingit Sky Realm for heroes. This is back to basically Alaska and some of the Pacific Northwest of that region and their beliefs. They have the Kawa. We just talked about the Kalawali. Swanton claims Kawa means way up, and this is related to that realm of heroes for the Tlingit. The Kawaso we also talked about, Kauaso, we also found from the northern Japanese or Ainu that the otter shapeshifter means that which reaches up. So now we find the concept of the Kalawali in South America, when we find these shamanic battles while shamans ascend or descend these shamanic sky ladders that can be attacked. They all have some similar etymology. I don't know. Kalawali, Kawasu, and Kawa, all from different parts of the world, all meaning shamanic laddery kind of stuff. And there's these battles going on between shamans, all over the jungle, and as they try to ascend or descend, fraught with astral peril, basically.
It's like a gang war between a bunch of different bands of assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of ninjas bands fighting each other in the jungle. It's wild.
Yeah. I have to say, and I got whistling in here. Now, we just had a whistling thing, right? You said the movie with the whistles. What was that? Was a Kurt Russell?
Oh, yeah. Well, killing me that I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Western that it's super famous for its super brutal kill scene at one point. But it's totally the Beowulf story. There's like this band of what the white men are calling Indians, but the Indians are like, they are not us. This is a different thing.
Right.
And when you finally really see them, they were us at one point a long time ago, but they've evolved different. And they literally have this, like, where our voice box is, they have this kind of bone flute sticking out of their throat, and they talk in whistles and things.
What we'll find is the flute, the whistling, they're very trickstery. They're very, they're tropes that keep surfacing time and time again. It's back to someone who was back of Irariwë. I know we said this a few times, so I apologize, but someone in the back of Uber from, basically Native American said it's from the first world, which the first world for them means it's where it started, and they had to move to different worlds to get to.
Before we really even had bodies and stuff, and there's a lot of demons running around in the darkness you had to watch out for.
But that movie kind of follows the same idea, that they were whistling. Whistling was the language of the first world. Right. It's kind of like the movie you just, the Kurt Russell movie in a way. And the flute piece of it.
They were cannibalistic cave people.
Yeah. There you go.
Like it's, and they were different. They were not human. They were something else.
And again, a divergence of evolution in that case. But again, the ones that stayed down there are very different from us, from the first world. This, again, we do find Whitehead mentioning whistles. So from dark shamans in Guyana, we find the same whistling. Quote, an intended victim probably will first become aware of the impending attack because the Kanaima will repeatedly approach the victim's house by night. I've experienced a tension inside a house when one of the overt signs of approaching Kanaima is identified, perhaps the call of the bokoboko, the night owl, Bobo virginis gotinis, or Ku rokokuro, the goat sucker, Cabra molugus, and I butchered that, but chupacabra, kind of related, or perhaps a whistling noise, a movement along the base of the walls of the house, or if a window or a crack in the wall is left open, a slight tugging on the strings of a hammock, again. Moreover, the infallible sign that such intimidators are in earnest is the invariable presence of one or more venomous snakes inside the house the following morning, usually a coral snake. That's from Whitehead.
Those are dangerous.
So they leave presents. They leave coral snakes afterwards.
Two things. If you ruin sleeping in a hammock for me, I'm going to hate you forever. And,
maybe I
and
shouldn't do this.
Bone Tomahawk. That's what that
Yeah.
movie's called.
There you go.
I remembered while you were reading that.
There you go.
I was
There you
actually
go.
picked up my phone to search it, and then I remembered before I even opened
That's
my
the
screen.
way to do it.
I was like, oh, Bone Tomahawk. That's
the
what
way
it's
to
called.
do it. I have not seen that. But again, we have owls.
Really? I might have to play that for you. It's actually a good Beowulf story.
There you go. We have owls again. We have whistling. We have all these same kind of themes. And snakes. They're leaving snakes, coral snakes. They're leaving presents.
Yeah, the serpent.
Yeah.
It's one of the base totems kind of thing. Yeah. Like one of the original totems.
Yep. I agree. Here's another. I mentioned this in another one somewhere back in the mausoleum. Whitehead also is the one who mentioned, because I read this a while ago, so he's factored into a few, he made it into our crocodile episode. He's made it. I mentioned the knot leaf, where this leaf that blows around that's not in an odd way. It's believed to be a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
A knot leaf. Like, that is the bizarrest shapeshifter to date from this region. When we mentioned that.
Wait, really? That's
Yeah.
a thing?
A
I
knot
saw
leaf.
a really weird leaf acting very strangely one night outside the garage after we recorded.
Yeah, I know. It was probably, we determined it could be a mole or something under the roots that was making one thing move.
It's just one leaf on this tree that was spinning like crazy, and every other leaf on the bush was sitting still.
Yeah, because Cisco went out in the same area, but the whole branch, the whole twig was moving. Same thing, same area.
It probably was, yeah. It's probably the same plant.
So again, we find twisting and twirling, we find whirlwind, we find spinning. These are the themes we keep coming across in our life through synchronicity and through our readings of folklore.
And once again, everything's the gin.
Yeah, because we shouldn't drink as much. Yeah.
The dust devils in the desert, man.
Exactly.
The DJINN gin.
Yep. No, I agree. The cannibalism theme, of course, is prominent. As we discussed, there's some cannibalism happening with the Hekura as well. These cannibalistic humanoid underground forest spirits, chuffs, as they're called. Remember the movie Chuffs from the
I was thinking about the chud just 3 minutes ago.
I think about the chuds a lot. They scare me.
That's why you're here, Moss.
But this is an intervention, really. But here's Whitehead one more time from Dark Shamans. Again, quote, Kanaima have access to the plane of the shamanic encounter and explanation, Kalwali, as well as being directly nourished by the production and consumption of the honey of necrosis, Maba, derived from the bodies of their victims, Mai Poya, who sends back black smoke into their brains, causing dark and horrible dreams, sorcerers who specialize in communicating with Mai Poya, and who used him to attack their enemies were called Narhoman Mayapoinamum. I'm never going to get that right.
Yeah.
But basically, we're looking at something very similar, again, to the honey of necrosis. Sounds like Borfama, because they talked about that with the sweetness that they enjoyed when the leopard men of Sierra Leone used something similar. Okay. Again, these places are separated plate tectonically.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. They were connected during Pangea, right?
Yeah, but we don't have any oral traditions from Pangea.
No, but I think at one point you trace shamanism back far enough that it would have been Pangea, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we were around. We were proto mammals at that point.
Like pre what we know now as religions go back so far.
Yeah, but Pangea, we were only proto-mammals.
Animism goes back to the roots of humanity, man.
But we weren't humans then around at that point. We were proto, we were shrews and stuff running around the dinosaur.
Are there
stuff.
Have you read Clan of the Cave Bear yet?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I know. I've been reading a lot of your books. There's a long list. I have a list.
I just start giving you the order in which you need to read them.
That's true. I know. I need guidance. I definitely do.
Sorry, I lost the tack here. What are we doing?
Well, it sounds a lot like Guyana skin
walkers.
We have a lot of the same stuff. I think we should get the best defense because we got to fight these things off.
Okay.
Whitehead suggests crow callings. A coo sound makes them flee into the darkness. You also, just like we discovered in the Philippines, guard that corpse when you do bury. You can seal them in ceramic jars or cover the body with boulders. Keep the site secret so the Kanaima cannot access the body, because if they can't, it actually makes them die. And I think it probably does, because the fear, even
That's
if they really feel like they have to do this and can't, we've seen this before work where people simply die.
They lose the power, like they don't
to live, the energy force to live.
If they don't get to eat the victim, kind of thing.
Yep. And you're going to keep them off your property by erecting, a not scarecrow would probably work.
I have defense.
Go for it.
I just made friends today with a big inconvenience of ravens.
Yeah, you did.
I'm going to bring
the
them.
Inconvenience.
I'm going to bring the entire inconvenience of ravens that I made friends with.
I saw this
a couple
happen.
hours ago.
So,
just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, it's true. That's my other dark shaman episode, which I haven't done yet, is Raven. And there was a bunch of ravens out there.
I'm gonna make friends with those guys, man.
I agree.
It's been my plan for a while, and it just kind of naturally started today.
There you go.
How many ravens were outside my house before we started recording today?
15?
Like too many?
Yeah, maybe 20. I don't know. It was a lot of ravens.
It looked like the birds out. It looked like Hitchcock out there.
It really was. I know. And if I was Suzanne Plachette, I would be concerned at this point. But travel in groups is another one. Wandering alone is bad. In these woods, I guess a buddy system is probably a good idea.
Every episode we do shows you that you need a buddy.
Yep.
Always buddy system.
Yep. And I don't know if you have a dream team. I didn't think of a dream team to fight the Kanaima, I must admit. Do you have a dream team?
I got something for you.
Let's do it.
My giant inconvenience of ravens that I just made friends with. I'm sorry. I'm a little excited about the raven.
That works. I don't have one, so I'll have to just buddy system. You bring the ravens.
I will be your buddy, and the ravens will be my buddy.
There you go.
See, it goes up the chain.
There you go.
And if they bring a buddy, who even knows where it's going to go from there?
Stop your raven right now.
It's very inconvenient.
I'm with you.
It's very inconvenient when you raven like that.
I agree. Colonization theme kind of creeps into this again. Pratt notes that all the different big cat men cases share the following common features: ritual, resistance, and social cleavages of the gender and generation. 2007. He adds that common to all the human leopards accounts are apparently indeterminate links between murders and historical moments of social tension. And that is Sharon Mertz. We've talked about her study before. That will be in the show notes. But Mertz kind of, she points out that, and Musherbash also talks about this in monster anthropology.
Yasmin Musherbash?
Yasmin Musherbash.
It's like my favorite name for some reason.
She's great. But basically these links between these moments in history, we find a lot of monsters, we find a lot of change, we find a lot of, as soon as there's tensions, the monsters transition, they tend to resurface, they tend to be prominent, and colonization seems to change the monster to some degree as well, as we always seem to find out.
We went into that a lot in our specifically skin
Walker
episodes, plus some previous shaman ones.
Yeah. I think, Harner kind of
the colonizer is the Frankenstein to the monster kind of thing.
There you go.
Creates the monster that then fights it.
Yeah. Yep. I think we got the segments now.
So this brings us to your Ahuguana. Oh no, here it comes. Quick, to the batshit signal.
Wow, what's my Ahuguano? I just have one word, Michigan. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I have to decipher my own Ahuguano.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And that brings us to my Ahuguano theory of the week. Michigan.
I have a note that says Michigan. I don't know what it means. But guess what, kids? Venezuelan revenge sorcery goes back to Michigan. That's all I got. Wow. I don't know what it means.
Okay.
I'm sure it meant something at some point. So it did. Really does.
You woke up at 3 a.m. and scribbled down a note, said Michigan, and you knew what it had to do with.
I knew what it had to do with, and I never.
But you don't know what it really means.
Reminds me with Keith Richards, like when they ask him about satisfaction, he says, "I just don't remember this." But the next morning, I hit play on the recorder. I was like, and he's like, and he wrote a song around that. So it's the same idea, except this.
We've completely lost track. I'm not even sure any of this works.
Anything. This isn't.
This is the craziest Alhuguan I've ever heard in my life. I'm not sure you even got introduced right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Let's just move on.
All right, so Scully Muggle.
Sir Richard Scully Muggle's Skeptics Review.
You're full of crap, and that's the nicest thing that I can say.
See, that was better. That went in much better.
That went much better. Well, I think Jokic's paper is more open than Whitehead's on this matter for sure. As far as the Scully Muggle, I think Whitehead is definitely more Scully Muggle, and Jokic is a little more moldery, a little more open. But at the same time, there is some connection between what some of these people supposedly, these cursed by Kanaima, are suffering from this wasting disease. There's a link between the wasting disease or that Buck's disease or wasting sickness of the not deer phenomenon. The same disease may have infected tribal members who then die. It could be some kind of rabies. It could be some kind of, I think Wendigo could be related to rabies in particular, but you can get something in the jungle, can make you very sick and not be able to digest food, and you could waste away. It could be blamed on the Kanaima, and I think that's probably a Scully Muggle.
I mean, if you want to go down that road, who even knows the diseases that have been in that jungle over the course of human history? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there could be some real, but these people come back with tales of being abused. There's physical signs of an attack. These people are ravaged. I don't think this is generally the case. I think this is what a Scully Muggle might say about this phenomenon, but I think the people have experiences. These people, these Kanaima, do probably hunt in packs, and revenge sorcery is real. It may just be more physical abuse than it is revenge sorcery. Mm-hmm. But as usual, we find these shape-shifting back themes of these real spirited creatures out there in charge. The alpha of that pack is a therianthropic dark shamanic wizard.
Yeah. The skeptic version of that is it's just a gang of thugs, and the guy in charge sends out his thugs to beat somebody up, and they use the excuse of, it was the spirit cats that did it.
Thundercats.
To not get in trouble for doing it.
Yeah.
And they put on the costumes or masks or whatever it is so nobody knows who it actually was.
Yeah, and they do just like
the skeptics can definitely pull that apart a little bit, but that's not, just that part isn't the whole thing though either.
Correct. And I think they do wear the pelts, as we said, so they do dress the part just as they do their counterparts in Sierra Leone, but that's not the whole story.
Right.
That's
not the whole thing.
It may be, and that's what a Scully Muggle, I think, would say, because most of these involve physical attacks, someone physically dying, whether they were using some kind of plant potion to poison, whatever. But I think it gets a little bit more apex predatory shamanic at times.
But in a very dark assassin sort of way.
Dark assassins.
It's like a predatory assassin.
Assassins. I know.
That is double dark. That is like the shadow's shadow.
Doubling dark down.
Double dark down, baby.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. Which brings us to Wolfman Puck.
Ooh, Wolfman Puck's Cryptid Culinary Corner.
Your entree, sir. Smells good.
I think it's safe.
No.
What
are you going to do, Maz?
Well, we can't get any darker in this. I think we've gotten dark enough.
They've been eating people the whole time already.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
I don't know. I think I don't want to cook a dark shaman tonight.
You know what I haven't done in a long time?
Cooked a dark shaman.
I haven't fed you to the monster.
Oh, there we go. That's how this started, in a way.
I am going to sacrifice Maz to the spirit of the cat.
Wow.
To save myself.
Wow.
How's that for best defense in the wrong part of the episode?
We were brother Thundercats not too long ago when this started.
I lied. I'm Mumra. I'm actually Mumra.
Yeah. Mumra.
The arch enemy of the Thundercats.
Yeah, I was thinking Mothra, but it's okay. I mean, I don't remember the Thundercats all that well, truth be told.
Oh, it was my favorite.
It was just when I started to move away from cartoons to cooler cartoons.
Dude, 6 days a week, every day before school, and on Saturday mornings, Thundercats for years.
Good for you.
Yeah, loved it.
I know. I mean, I did watch it, and it was amazing when I went that route. So,
what sort of beverage should I serve with you?
Wow, what do I pair with?
I'm going to serve Miller High Life with Maz.
That's It's so wrong, but it's so right.
Yeah.
So thank you. Because I am Milwaukee's best.
Milwaukee's beast.
Yeah, Milwaukee's beast.
Yeah.
There you go. I think
Wow.
that. Do you have anything?
That was
questions?
Really
Do you have any questions for me? Because we did go through that a little quicker than usual, and I'm wondering if you feel.
that was a very skin crawly kind of episode.
Yeah.
I did see a lot of correlation with, because you've gone to like so many parts of the world for these different types of shaman and different shamanic practices and dark magics and things like this throughout the course of this podcast. Jumping back toward the beginning, the whole crocodile-headed thing. I had never heard the crocodile stuff. It's always been the serpent. I've always heard the cat and the serpent for the rainforest. The crocodile to me, because you did the whole thing with crocodiles in Africa.
Yeah, and
The were-crocs.
Yeah, and the were-crocs is another common one. It seems to be big cats, crocodiles, or snakes. And again, when we do ayahuasca, and that's why I was trying to tie it in with Graham Hancock, he saw these crocodile-headed things, and he saw this jade statue of a serpent, and he, ties into all the basic. And when he did his ayahuasca, just from the rest of his book, he talks about jaguars and serpents as being just like, and again, he admits, was I thinking of this ahead of time? I knew this piece of the lore, and when I did it, was I expecting to see this? But I also feel like people who don't know what to expect still see serpents, jaguars, and crocodiles. Those seem to be, and again, it's a lot of the apex predators of an area, and what better apex predators do we have anywhere than jaguars or giant cats, the were-leopards?
There were tigers in here too.
Right. And again, the tigers are being referred to the jaguars. Sometimes they're referred to as tigers. Sometimes even leopards are referred. They
don't actually have actual tigers in the area.
Yeah, on the South America side. But the lore of the South American werecat really matches the lore of the African werecat, and I wanted to make that point. That
in a big way, so correlative.
Yeah, and
that's a hard word to say, right?
Well, when we listed all those from were-leopards, it was a global from China with the Bangchong and everything in South America.
We get
and beyond.
Do they come up into Central America at all that you've heard?
Yeah, and we actually have the actual physical animal creeping into our region.
That's what I was going to ask, because we have the jaguars that they commute between Mexico and Arizona.
Yeah, and they do come into as far as Phoenix. I mean, Tucson,
the Sonoran
for sure.
Desert, basically, right? The Chihuahuan and Sonoran deserts, I think they wander.
They have a lot of jaguars. Not a lot, but we do have jaguar sightings in our area.
Yeah.
And
because they got the cameras along the border, so like every once in a while, one of those cameras will actually pick up jaguar coming through.
That would be fun. If anybody knows any southwestern shamans turning into jaguars of southwestern United States, they're here. Because
we get so many other, the whole skin
walker
thing and related stuff that happens around here with the, you can,
around here,
the deer and the coyote and
play.
That would be the deer and the antelope play.
No, deer and owls played that time we recorded.
The deer and the coyotes, and we were even talking about how if you get high enough level, we're talking today about really high level shaman being able to yuck these predatory beasts, right?
Or transform into one would be the top level.
Transform into one, yeah. Totally. But like here we had we've talked about the eagle being one of those upper echelon kind of animals. Like you got to really get to a high level of energy or magic or whatever it is before you can start transforming into that.
Right.
The deer is like beginner,
Yeah, in some ways.
So
or maybe not.
Does this carry into the whole skin
walker
thing? Because that would, if you trace the path, it could...
Yeah, that's why I said we looked for someone. If there's I would imagine there's somewhere some tradition where in the Southwest United States a shaman turned into a jaguar. But to go back to your deer comment, the Hoykle shaman, and this is in the Madres there, in northern Mexico, we have the Hoykle shaman, and we've talked about these folks before. They have the deer people and the wolf people, and it is a yin and yangy thing. The deer people out during the day, and they're actually the more lighter folks, and then the wolf Heukel people go out off into the woods, and they perform their rituals in the dark forest. But they all know each other, and they're all not against each other, and it's kind of this shadow light kind of balance in a way, I think.
Right. Well, it's like the natural ecosystem thing. The wolf and the deer are both necessary to the forest to be healthy, right? Yeah. And it's the same concept at work.
But if it would be yin and yang, there wouldn't be any pecking order for. But I agree with you. The apex predator, the shamans do historically try to work on the smaller. They start with insects sometimes, very small, and then they get bigger and bigger when they get to the apex predator. Those who reach apex predator become
that's
a
interesting.
more powerful shaman generally.
Well, yeah, even the other side, like the medicine man, the positive shaman, the healer.
Australian.
Like if you go for medicine to really reconnect with nature and all that sort of stuff, that's where you start. You start in the dirt with the bugs.
Yeah, you do.
That's really step one.
Right.
Like get comfortable with the dirt and the bugs.
Yeah.
And you work your way up from there.
Yeah. When we did the Rusnasmas and stuff, there were times that the shaman couldn't deal. We went too far ahead, and this thing scared him, and he ran back to his home because he wasn't ready to acclimate or deal with something that much more powerful than him. He was afraid he was going to lose that battle. And that's part of, we didn't talk about this, and I really wanted to, and I apologize. When you did the interview with a gentleman who saw an elk man follow him back.
Episode 93, with Stu.
There's actually the Weichug they discuss this in different Native American traditions where if things become out of balance with your totem, you can become possessed by your totem. So if you are that shaman that tries to basically incorporate something as a spirit animal that's too strong, then it becomes out of balance. You can actually be more of a possessed by that. And when you turn into it, you really, whether this is, and we discussed this, whether this is an animal trying to be a human, which it seemed like, or is it a shaman who got in over his head, and now we have this possessed shaman from an elemental that took over his...
Well, I mean, it's kind of both, right? Because the shaman is trying to summon and control an animal spirit.
Right.
And they can't control. They summon but can't control. So the spirit takes them over, and the man becomes the beast becomes the man. It's all happening at the same time.
Yeah. Is it an animal trying to evolve up, or is it a shaman who lost his way and evolved down?
It's Kafka's Metamorphosis.
Yeah, that was a great short story.
Did the man become the bug, or the bug become the man?
I know. I think we should.
They both. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's there's your duality of man right there.
Jeff Goldblum or David Hedison? Which fly?
We're gonna fight again, aren't we?
Yeah, probably.
Goldblum.
Yeah. What?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's the weird, like the most weird.
The fly special effects were amazing but the original Fly with David Hedison and Vincent Price. Thank you. Well done, sir. Well done. So yeah, I
do like that scene.
Yeah,
when the spider's coming to eat him,
it's creepy. Yeah, very good. Well done, sir. No, I think they're both good, and I actually think both things are really amazing in their own way. Thing from Another World and the John Carpenter 80s version with Kurt Russell, both amazing.
Just don't watch It Conquered the World.
Yeah, I was trying to get up. What was I trying for? I ended up with Roger Corman, but I was trying to find the thing that the monster that challenged the world.
Yeah, there you go.
And I ended up with It Conquered the World. We ended up in Roger Cormanville with Peter Graves.
It appeared
and
to be a
Lee
great
Van
cast.
Cleef.
Yeah, that's the thing. It appeared to be a great cast. So I'm like, oh, this has to be good.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, the flying things were pretty cool. I mean, it was one of Roger Corman. He's a mixed bag, Yeah. But I think it had its moments. I enjoyed it because I hadn't seen it in a very long time. The creature at the end,
monster was a vegetable with giant teeth and crab claws.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
No. Well, it wasn't Roger Corman's best work. I'll say that. It's more Ed Woody. I
Yeah,
guess.
there you go.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. Anything to add or subvert before I wrap it up here, Moss?
No, but thank you for hosting these. I had to come up to Flag for this one in the mighty
It's
cold
like the
winter.
one time maybe all winter it'll snow is
Yeah.
today. The
Yeah.
one full day that you're going to be.
What are you gonna do?
It's all right. We'll take you back to the warm tomorrow.
There you go.
But and for everyone else out there, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you being here with us as we carry on, getting close to episode 100 here, which is always a good landmark. We get to start season 3 and all that. So keep on trucking here at the Monster Lore Tour. You can find us on all the audio platforms. We do have Patreon, patreon.com/Monster Lore Tour. It's only $1 a month if you want to help us out on that. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get out of here. To all our fellow paranerdalists out there, till next time, have a good one. Monster Lore Tour Podcast. Muppets from Space is one of my favorites
Yeah,
because
Pigs in
it's
Space.
Gonzo's backstory, and Gonzo was always my favorite.
Yeah. He is the
'Cause he's
Grover
weird.
of the next generation.
Shut up!